The Assetto Corsa EVO 0.3 update preview just dropped on Steam. We had a chance to drive it for a few hours, and in this video I'm going to tell you our impressions of version 0.3, or at least the preview of version 0.3. Have Kunos returned to form? Is the pizza cooking, or have they put the pizza in the oven upside down and then filled the pizza oven with salty seawater? Find out in this video. As always, remember to subscribe so you can unsubscribe when I say something too critical about your favourite video game. Clicking the like button is entirely optional, but if you don't do it, maybe something bad will happen. And a massive thanks to all our channel members, Patreon users and supporters around the world for allowing us to do what we do. Thank you very much, you're the best. Before I upset you guys with what I'm going to say, let's begin with the positives. And the positives are, you've got more cars in the early access that you can drive, the F2004 being one of them, which in the original Assetto Corsa is one of the most phenomenal vehicles in all of sim racing. As always, the car models and the graphics of the vehicles looked absolutely fantastic, and the audio of the vehicles seemed better than the last time we played it. I think things just sounded better in general. I'm not sure if it's because they're using different sounds or they've adjusted sound settings, but just out of the box when we jumped in, things sounded really quite nice. Track models, well, you know, it's Kunos, track models are superb. And also, I did appreciate driving this again after we haven't played EVO for a while. Some of the aspects of the graphics are really quite nice, especially when you have like a cloud block in the sun and that changes the tone of the scene. Graphically, at times, EVO can look really quite nice in many ways. In some ways, it can look a little bit cartoony and a little bit oversaturated and a bit sort of modern gamey. It's hard to explain what I mean by that. It's that kind of... This isn't using Unreal Engine, but I'm not sure if it's just deferred lighting techniques and whatever they do, but it has that kind of rather shiny, modern gamey look to it, rather than a more natural photo real or what you would experience through your eyes kind of look to it. Some people like that. I kind of don't mind either way. I would rather a game just perform better. That's my main priority. I'm quite happy with how the original AC looks or many older titles. Yeah, so either way, looks quite nice. Nice sounds, nice car models, and you can now test things online. Those are the positives. Now, before what I say, keep in mind I'm talking about this from a hardcore sim racer perspective, someone with 20 years of sim racing experience, and someone that's a really big fan of the original Assetto Corsa, Automobilista 1, Live for Speed, Race Room, you know, someone that's done a lot of sim racing. These views are from that perspective, not the perspective of someone that's maybe plays Gran Turismo 7 or is just looking at sims in a general sense. These views are from someone that's very old, jaded, and has wasted far too much of their life sim racing. Right, that's enough of a caution before we get into this. It's time for a bit of a reality check now. I honestly, I really hope that Kunos, with this preview, have maybe not enabled better physics, or maybe not finished dialing in the force feedback. But there's something massively wrong with this simulator, and it's quite hard to pin down exactly, but I'll try my best. What it feels like is that there's a combination of things happening. So one, which doesn't help, is that the game still has a horrendous amount of built-in damper. I've turned all damping off on my wheel, all filtering off on my wheel, and all the damper in-game set to 0. Yet it still feels like what you'd generally expect to feel in the original AC or other simulators if you were to put your damper at like 15–20%. So that already mutes more subtle information that is quite useful to drive from, or almost necessary. It's almost like Kunos don't trust you to actually give you the actual true undampened force feedback. Then on top of that, it has the same similar kind of physics issue that I think ACC has, where it's like there's some kind of built-in delay going on with the physics, and then how the physics interact with what you're doing. It's very hard to put a finger on. It's not input delay in the traditional sense. I'm running on a 120Hz OLED with G-Sync, and I'm very sensitive to what you'd get from like V-Sync or frame input delay. And you can see that the visual wheel lines up very well, and there's no reason why we would have input delay. It doesn't look like traditional input delay. What it's like is exactly like the ACC thing, where there's this really bizarre seeming delay between when you do actions and then the physics happen and then you respond to them. Or when you're going from grip to slip and back again, it's all like, it feels out of sync. The response to the vehicle feels out of sync. Now, it's a lot harder to notice that with GT3 cars because they're generally quite muted vehicles. But when you get into an F2004 car, which is a super snappy vehicle, I think they're like 600-700 kilograms, 500 kilograms, I don't know, they're not heavy cars, and you can see them in real life darting all over the place. They're absolutely mental Formula cars, one of the best cars ever made, let's be honest. When you've got a vehicle like that, it exposes that aspect even more. And if you don't believe me, go and load up AC with the F2004 in that, and then load up Evo. Obviously there will be physics differences, obviously there'll be like tyre grip differences, and you know, that's fine. I'm not really talking about the difference in how grippy the tyres are and how peaky the tyres are, that kind of stuff. Put that all to one side, and for sure I even agree that AC1 might be overly simplistic in some ways and you can catch crazy slides and things. Put all that to one side, just fixate on the sort of response of how the vehicle is responding to your input and the snappiness of the vehicle and the degree to which you can actually move the 3D object through the space and how precise you are on the throttle and how you can actually move the car. Evo, it's like you're driving a bloody tank, and it's exactly the same with ACC with its GT3 cars. There's something, I can't pin it down exactly, but there's something so massively off with Evo and ACC, but it just kills the joy of driving. It's another thing I noticed is even with the Caterham MX-5 and the BMW GT3 car, I think it is, in Evo, they all have this sort of behaviour of you do an action, the car then responds, then you do an action, then the car responds. It's like a turn-based driving, which then forces you to drive in this really rote memorization methodical way, exactly like ACC. And to be fair, that's also how you have to drive iRacing, though not under the limit in iRacing. Under the limit in iRacing, you have really good progressive control of the vehicle on braking, and you know, you can navigate the vehicle really nicely and move it around under the limit really smoothly, really connected to the vehicle in iRacing, especially with Marvin's force feedback app. You get really good force feedback detail, but in iRacing the problem is more that if you go over the limit of the tyres, you're done, you're absolutely dead. Whereas in Evo, you can go over the limit and you can bring it back. But the point is, under the limit, on and over the limit in Evo, it's like a turn-based driving game. You're just really not connected directly to the vehicle. Again, it feels like there's just something massively fundamentally wrong with the physics. And again, I'm just using ACC as an example because this is why I do not touch ACC now. I was incredibly vocal about ACC's force feedback. I got so much crap for it. I was incredibly vocal about ACC's physics. I got so much crap for it. But since then, we've only got better at sim racing, sadly, and only got better at different simulators. And it's just made it more obvious. And then we've also had way more very well-known drivers say that AC1 is obviously much better. And it's for these reasons that I'm saying in this video. So it boggles my mind that Evo seems to have the same characteristics, though maybe because the cars are lighter and maybe they have improved things marginally. It's not as bad as ACC, it's not as concrete sledgy as ACC, but it's basically the same sort of principles there. And it turns into a rote memorization driving game. Now, the thing is, for sure, people that are not used to actively balancing a vehicle at the limit, I don't think they notice these things. I don't think that this is why I think a lot of people don't notice the iRacing tyre model issue, because if you just roll onto the limit, roll into slip or roll into understeer, you're not actively balancing a vehicle at the limit and trying to actively hold slip. It's kind of like drifting, but in a race you're just doing it at very small amounts of slip, and you might cross over, you might go left and right in the steering, you know, but you're effectively balancing the slip very precisely, which is the crux of like really driving really quickly or really getting the most out of it. Or for me, that's the essence of absolute real driving. It's that balance of the car at the limit. It's not the rote memorization of, can I line up this power slide through the corner so that it's going to follow a fixed trajectory, maybe I counter steer the rear but the fixed trajectory is correct through the corner. It should be all the time you're connected to the vehicle, and all the time you're making little micro adjustments and working on your trajectory and trying to be as smooth and precise as possible. But yeah, Evo is just, and then separate to that, whilst driving, it just feels like there's so much like weird, just general wonkiness in when the cars sort of want to rotate into the corner and then not rotate, and when they hook up and when they don't hook up. It's all over the place. it's so off. I really don't get how Kunos released this. And obviously this is a beta of an early access preview. What are you doing, Kunos? Just don't put this stuff out until you've got something that's borderline as good as the original Assetto Corsa. Well, it doesn't even have to be as good, but you know, in fairness, this game doesn't have the crazy throttle authority that Automobilista 2 has, where you just push the throttle and the back insta rotates. The vehicles are generally more balanced in this compared to AMS2, and as I say, if you do go over the limit, the tyres don't completely turn off like iRacing, but then there's still so many situations where you're in the MX-5 and you're just going through a corner and the car rear just sort of keeps going over the limit, and you do this, you over counter steer, overcompensate to sort of recover it. It's so disconnected. Ah, dear. It's honestly insane that this is made by Kunos. I mean, the best way to describe the driving in this, if you're trying to actually drive at the limit and you're not chronically underdriving, it's just a chore to drive. It's not joyful. It's like actively hates you playing it. It's what it feels like, combined with the like weird passenger slide thing of ACC, where you know, it's like you've gone over the limit, let's just wait for the tyres to come back whilst you're disconnected from them. They've come back, maybe driving to the corner a bit slower next time. So yeah, it's an absolute soggy, upside down, salty pineapple pizza. It's a total disaster, I would say. If you're coming at this from the perspective of a sort of hardcore sim racer, ignoring if you put aside the over the limit handling of iRacing's better than this. That's controversial from me. I would say maybe many aspects of AMS2 are much better than this. Again, controversial view from myself. It's, yeah, and then putting aside all the handling and what have you, I'm sure people can get used to it. You can memorise any driving game. I think that's what people would do, and then they'll defend it to the death. That's what happened with ACC. The menus are still absolutely terrible. The online server list, obviously it's just their basic server browser, but just the positioning of the items, like the filter options, the refresh time for the server list, the way it's all presented, it's as if someone has never done user interface design, or has done user interface design and then sat down to try and do one of the worst possible implementations of a server browser user interface. I do not get what's going on at Kunos. To be clear, I'm sure there's people working very, very hard at Kunos that are doing really good work, like really hard technical work. I'm sure a lot's going into it. As I always say, there's people doing very hard work, it's not normally their fault. It's normally time constraints, and it's normally bad decisions in design or other parts of management or publishers and stuff that causes weird stuff in games development. And of course I could develop a driving sim myself easily that would be better than everything. You know, sim development is incredibly hard and it's very thankless, so I'm not having a go at the people doing the actual work here, but this video and my YouTube channel is from the perspective of an experienced sim racer, letting you guys know my interpretation of things. I would also say try things for yourself, don't base it on what any idiot YouTuber happens to say or think. Give it a go for yourself, and if you enjoy it, great. It doesn't really matter why you enjoy it or why someone else doesn't, you know. But so to be clear about all that stuff, however, this is mental. Kunos, do not release this now. Go back to the drawing board, sort it out so it drives as good as AC1. Could be a little bit worse, but maybe as good as, or as good as Race Room, or whatever. Make sure it's not got this weird delay crap going on. Make sure it doesn't have the stupid on-off, like, sort of weird physics response behaviour. Stop. Why? What is this about? It's honestly just baffling to me. It's like the football is on the goal line of the other team's goal, and then Kunos runs into the goalpost and knocks themselves out. Right, also, the clear fact is, Kunos could have just released some half-arsed free world thing that's the official free roam thing, and pretty much 80% of the AC user base would all go mental, even if it was crap, because, you know, they just want to drive around motorways with traffic. That's most of AC1 sales. It's not because of the physics or the racing, it's just people wanting to drive around with cars, which is fine. So why didn't they just do that if they want to make money? And then when it comes to the online racing, we obviously have a lot of AC1 fans on our channel. We've been playing Kunos games since Netcar. People, all the hardcore fans, pretty much all of them, would just have been really happy with the base Assetto Corsa re-released, but with like the LMU user interface, and you could jump into a race, select a setup and go. They'd have been happy with that. They didn't want a whole new game and all this. Yeah. Anyway, what do I know? Maybe you know better in the comment section, and you can tell me how wrong and stupid I am. That's fine. I'm going to make, as I say, an incredibly strong cup of tea. Maybe when this actually, because this is obviously a beta. When the actual update rolls out properly, we'll try it again. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one, happy tea drinking and goodbye.